And we're live.
Podcast time.
We're here. We did it.
Yep, we did it.
It's Thursday. Jeez, this week has gone by slow and fast at the same time.
Oh yeah. Did you guys have a holiday weekend?
No,
Okay, we did. So it went by fast for me because I had Monday off.
ours was last week.
What was last week?
Uh,
Ours was Memorial Day.
yeah, I think the same thing, but for Canada. I can't. It's May long weekend is what everyone calls it, but I can't remember what the holiday day is.
What the day is?
Is
Okay.
it like a family day or something?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I
I
can't
thought Family
remember.
Day was in the summer, but maybe I'm misremembering.
Yeah, no. Oh yeah, Victoria Day. That's what it is.
Victoria Day. Okay.
Yeah.
No, John. This week he got sick at the convention.
Yeah, he went to MomoCon as he said last week, and yeah, he feels bad now.
I'm back with a bug. Yep.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Yep.
Whereas I'm just over my cold, so
Nice.
ready to
Nice.
rock.
Yeah. Feeling good.
What have you been up to this week?
This week has been crazy. Just work. It's been a crazy week. I'm so tired. So
Yeah,
not
crazy for
much.
me too. My mom was visiting for a couple nights.
Oh, that's nice though. That's good.
Yeah, but just like right after like my trip, it's just been like go. She took off today, and it's finally I can just like chill out.
Sure. Yeah.
Because next week I go down to LA for Summer Game Fest stuff.
Yeah. Next week for gaming stuff is crazy. So it's already started, which we'll get to later. But yeah, it's happening.
I thought I was hearing. I didn't actually look into it, but I thought I was hearing that June was a quieter month, which would be nice.
Oh,
Catch
for
up on some
games.
stuff.
Sorry, I meant like news, like the news cycle
Oh,
stuff.
for news. Yeah, news will definitely ramp up next week. Absolutely, for sure.
That's what
there's a
I
whole
meant
bunch of
by
streams.
it's started already.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I went and saw Planet of the Apes, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
That's the 5th of the new like series.
Fourth.
It's the 4th.
It's
Okay.
the start of. Oh, I'm assuming it's the start of a new trilogy.
Okay. Got it. Was it pretty good?
It was okay. I found it a bit slow, so it's long.
Okay. Yeah.
And long and slow is not a great combination. I need to rewatch that first trilogy, but I hold those in pretty high regard.
Yeah.
So maybe this is my least favorite. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen the first trilogy though.
I've only watched Rise. Rise is good. I mean, it's very good.
That's the first one, right?
That's the first one. Yeah. I wasn't.
Yeah, I've seen that one multiple
crazy
times.
About it, but
Yeah,
it was
Nathan
good.
crazy. Yeah, that's the whole thing. No, Rise is really good, and then the other two kind of blend together a bit for me because I think I've only seen them both once.
Okay. Yeah. I'd like to check it
I own
out the
all
other
three
two
of
at some
them, though.
point.
Yeah, you should. They're pretty good. And then this one isn't really related. This takes place hundreds of years later.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
you can just jump into it if you really wanted to. I also saw Furiosa.
Yeah. The only thing I've heard about that movie is that it's disappointing at the box office. And does this mean the end of movies because people are crazy? So, like, how is that thing?
I don't know. I really enjoyed it.
Okay. Cool.
Like, I like Fury Road more, but it's hard to beat Fury Road. I think Fury Road is
course.
one of just the best movies.
Yeah.
So, but I did enjoy Furiosa, and yeah, I have also been seeing that it was a disappointing box office, and apparently that like halted production on the next Mad Max because he was already working on it. And then the poor box office came in, and they're just like, "Hang on a second." So that's a bummer to hear.
Yeah. Oh.
I do want to watch that first trilogy at some point, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's there. It's fine, I guess.
I've just never seen it.
Sure.
And it'd be nice to see more of this world.
Oh yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
But I did like Furiosa. Anna Taylor-Joy does a good job. It's very enjoyable.
Nice. Yeah, she's great.
Absolutely. All right. Well, if nothing on your end to report, then we can just do the podcast.
Yeah.
Top down perspective, May 30th. I'm Sean Booker.
I'm Paul Fleck.
And Paul, you got a big old list of games
I
here.
got a big old list. I'll do the two here that you don't have, and then we'll kind of take turns on the others. Nine Souls came out. It's a very nice looking Metroidvania, kind of in the vein of like a Hollow Knight. I will say it is much more difficult than a Hollow Knight, and it is very dependent on parry timing and not fucking up once, because if you do, you'll probably just get killed. So it is incredibly difficult in terms of like that sort of gameplay style, but I love it. I think it's really, really good. It feels pretty good. It has a kind of cool mechanic where you build up ki, I think, or so like the Chinese version of chi, by parrying, and then you can do these like attacks where you put a talisman on an enemy and then like explode them essentially, or do different effects later on, I think. And yeah,
Oh, this is the developer of Devotion?
it's the developer of Devotion. Yeah, the Chinese.
Isn't
So
that the game that got like
that's the one.
banned for like making fun? Yeah.
Fun of their
That
president,
was a
calling him
while
Winnie
ago.
the Pooh or something. Yes.
Winnie the Pooh, because yeah, it was yeah,
Yep.
it's
That's the
great.
one. That's that developer.
And that was like 6 or 7 years ago.
Yep. This game they've been showing for about 2 to 3 years now in like Kickstarter demos and stuff like that. And the thing about it is that if you looked it up, you probably can even attest it. The art style is incredible. Like it looks very, very nice. It's all hand drawn, almost like some like a Chinese version of anime is maybe a way you could call it. It's kind of like a little bit different, but it has very nice stark like contrasting colors and very almost watercolor like in a lot of the backgrounds and stuff. It's very, very cool. But
Yeah, a good style. When you said Hollow Knight, I was expecting dark and gray. That is not what this is.
no, it's very, yeah, like some of the enemies are kind of messed up amalgamations of something or other, like weird techno punk like mech things or with animals, and there's like some gooey human things as well, but like for the most part it's all pretty nice looking backgrounds
It
and stuff.
reminds me of a Spiritfarer in terms of the
Yeah,
art style.
sure.
Just the
Yeah,
general animal vibe, I guess.
also the Dust and Elysian Tale is another thing that is kind of
Sure.
harking back to a little bit. It's very, very cool. It is very, very difficult. So
Doesn't that developer have a new game coming out?
yeah, I think so. I can't remember anything about it though.
Yeah, I think it was like recently announced. What's that developer's name?
uh
Humble Hearts?
yeah, I don't think I've ever known their name.
It's not on Steam, but I thought they just announced something like within the last year. I don't know. Someone in the chat will correct me, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like you're right that they did something recently, but I can't find it easily, so I guess I'll just give up. But yeah, I've been looking forward to that game. It came out, so I started that. That came out yesterday, so I'm not very far into it. I'm at where the demo ends. It does that demo thing where like you play the beginning and then also you can play more of the demo to get kind of like a later quote unquote boss to see like how that game plays against a harder
Sure.
thing. So I've beat that
Yeah.
boss as well in the game, but that's
Okay.
only maybe 2 hours. I'm like 2 to 3 hours in. It's cool. It's
Oh,
very, very
wait, is
good.
it out or it's not out?
Yeah, it came out yesterday, the 29th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The other game that I've
Yeah,
been
okay.
kind of dipping in and out of is XDefiant, Ubisoft's Call of Duty clone using their
Right. Yeah, this
properties.
finally came out.
This came out. I wasn't a big fan of it in their like closed playtest they did. I did that with a couple buddies about a year and a half ago, a year ago or something like that. And it wasn't feeling great, but it was okay. It feels way better right now. They obviously tweaked some things and made like some sound design decisions to make the guns feel sound better, made the aiming and like stuff feel better. It has the Call of Duty time to kill sort of thing where when you get the drop on someone, unless you really, really suck, which sometimes you do, they're probably going to die because they die very, very quickly, and also you die very, very quickly if you're not careful. But you're back in the action pretty quick, and it has the pretty standard game modes of uh, taking over like a point and trying to hold it for a certain amount of time, kind of King of the Hill-esque, or taking over multiple points to gain a score for your team. And the first team that reaches a
Right.
certain score wins. They even have like the Overwatch escort mode in, where you're escorting a thing to like payload to a thing or whatever.
And this is the game that's like each faction is from like a Ubisoft property.
Yeah. So they
Yeah, I'm looking
have
at them and they got like
mhm.
I actually don't know who the Phantoms are. The Echelon is Splinter Cell.
Phantoms
The
are
Cleaners is
um, the uh, the Tom Clancy stuff that's like Wildlands and Breakpoint and stuff. Those people.
okay. Cleaners is Division.
Cleaners is Division.
DedSec is
Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Libertad? Oh, that's
Far
Far
Cry
Cry.
6. Yeah. Uh,
Specifically sick. Okay, so who are you playing?
so you switch between them because they all have kind of different passives and abilities or whatever. And the big thing right now is that GenSec is completely locked out from the beginning, and you have to either pay to get them or gain like player level and experience to unlock them for free. You need 700,000 experience to unlock the first dude. And to do that, you do the different challenges or whatever that are for the different characters, because each character kind of has like a different ability. And there's challenges that are like do a certain amount of damage with the firebomb ability, or kill a certain amount of people with this ability, or scan a certain amount of people with the GenSec ability or whatever. So like you're trying to just kind of complete those so that you get the major experience boosts to try to. My thing is trying to unlock GenSec so I can play that right now. But it also does the weapon challenges thing of a COD where it's like get a bunch of headshots or do like, I think one of them is 10 hip fire kills with like a shotgun will unlock another shotgun, that sort of thing. So it's been fun enough. I like Call of Duty multiplayer, but not ever enough to really spend like a bunch of money and time into it. So a free to play version where I just kind of get to play a bunch of cool Division maps or whatever, because Ubisoft doesn't care about the Division anymore in any other regard, really. It's been nice. It's been a fun little thing to do at the end of the night for an hour or two, do my dailies and then log out. That's about it.
I was trying to think if they're who like what other people, what other factions could they do? And like
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed doesn't really have guns, so you can't really do that.
It would be kind of cool if they did like a really fast melee focused one or something, though. Like that might be a neat event or something. I don't know. You could do it for.
Maybe, yeah.
Hmm.
Like what else? They got Rabbids, they got Rayman. Everything else is like cartoony, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could throw rabbits in there with little ray guns and
Well,
dumb shit.
Rayman, you know, he can maybe his punches would be like a gun.
Sure. Yeah.
Like so you got the range there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean, the big one obviously is like Siege, right? But as I was,
Yeah, I was just about to say Siege. How is that not here?
well, because Siege just unleashed their like, we're monetizing the shit out of this thing, and they probably don't want. They want people to just buy Siege stuff in Siege, probably.
I bet they add Siege. There's no way they don't add Siege.
Eventually. Yeah. It is kind of weird that it's not there, but we'll see. Okay. Other than that, the other games is we kind of touched on it last week because it had just come out, but I played through Hellblade 2. And
Yeah, I actually finished it like 30 minutes ago.
okay, so you're pretty fresh on it. I played it on the Xbox Series S, which I've been calling probably the worst version, and it looks great. Like it looks great on that system
Yeah.
still.
Yeah. I've been playing on the Series X.
It looks great. Sure.
Looks great. Sounds great.
I did install it on PC after I had finished it just to see like what the difference is between that and like bumping it up or whatever all the way. And it looks fucking amazing on PC, bumped up all the way with everything. So it's just like, if you have the ability, like the S, it plays great. Maybe play it on one of the other ways to play it if you can, though.
I'm surprised you picked the S to do that when you have the PC as an option.
Oh, I streamed it, and I didn't think that I could stream it like video capture and play it at a high quality easily.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. But like just on my own, I would have played it on the PC for sure. It looks really, really good. There's nothing I can really say about that game that isn't spoilery that I didn't say last time. I think my opinion holds pretty true. I think I got way better. That like I remember saying the beginning felt slow to me, and it still did feel slow, but it like drew me in pretty much exactly where we were last talked or left off, where the giant stuff happened. There's like a whole cave sequence after that that I just found incredible visually and like terrifying in a way that I really, really liked. And then it ends on kind of a wet fart for me. I didn't love the ending, but other than that, I thought it was a fine time.
Yeah, fine is probably where I would put it. I feel like I cooled off on it as it went going.
Mm,
The puzzles, there's like two kinds of puzzles.
yep.
It's like find the symbol or like make the environment appear or disappear.
Yep.
And it's just kind of they I feel like they needed like one more kind of puzzle to
Sure.
put in there. Um and then what really annoying, I thought that final fight sucked.
It's terrible.
Specifically cuz it doesn't do a great job of telegraphing like am I doing it right? Like
Oh,
it's just kind of like repeat the fight and I was like, okay, they are literally like repeating lines to me, which implies to me I'm missing a mechanic. I'm supposed to be doing something else, but no, it's
no.
just you just need to keep doing this
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah. That.
And yeah, that was just a bummer, especially cuz like I lost pretty near the end and had to do the fight basically twice.
Yeah,
Um
that's rough. That sucks.
So it was kind of two of times being like, "Am I missing something?" And like, I would hit the mirror and be like, "Am I supposed to do something different around here?" No, I. So yeah, they didn't really telegraph that um, in a great way. Also, like, they kind of have like, you're fighting the giants and they kind of build this up, and then
The
the
end,
last
dude.
giant is
Oh
like,
God.
it's
Yeah.
like not a giant, and it's like I'm not gonna get too spoiler into it. It's just like that. So yeah, I guess maybe that's how you were feeling. It's a
Yeah.
little anticlimactic.
It's super, and I think
And then it does, and then it kind of just ends, and it's
that I
like, oh,
think
all
that's
right.
also my problem is that when you do the first giant thing, it's like, yeah, this is cool. This is a cool set piece. Second giant's like, okay, we got through it a little quicker than I maybe would have liked, but like, all right, that's fine. And then it just kind of ends on like a fight or whatever, and I'm just like, you had me. You could have kept going. Like you had me in your clutches, and you ended. Like your pacing is way off. Too bad. It's too
Yeah, and
bad.
like with the whole like puzzle kind of aspect, like it's like a 6-ish hour game, maybe 6 to 8, depending on how much searching around you're doing, and it still felt like it was padded out a bit.
I I
Just
did it in
because there's
six
like not,
hours because I'm an idiot
yeah.
and I fucked up one puzzle for half an hour. I just couldn't get
Okay.
through it.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, so I cooled off on it a bit. I do think it looks great
it's
and it
incredible
sounds really
looking.
awesome, but I think overall I kind of fell on the little bit disappointed,
Me too.
especially for like the wait we kind of had for it. Just the number of times they showed it as like a trailer, they built up quite a bit of hype.
Yeah,
So we talked about it last time. Like, I'm worried under Xbox now. What does this mean for Ninja Theory? I guess it has been reported they do have another game greenlit, so at least they have one more
yeah,
quote
okay.
unquote chance. I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things too, where it's like gameplay wise, I wish there was just a lot more there in a lot of ways, but like tech wise, I don't think any other company is doing like facial capture or animation the way they are. Like what they did is incredible. It looks so fucking good. So I want them to really have the time and money to like really go crazy on something and make something incredible. And like I guess I wanted it to be Hellblade 2, but maybe it never was going to be Hellblade 2 because Hellblade 1, remembering back on it, had like a lot of parts I thought were very cool, but at the end of the day, I had the same problems with Hellblade 1. The combat was too repetitive for me. There were large points of where I was just running around the environment looking for like the way that tree branches line up so that you can like get a symbol or something. And that stuff sucks in that game too. So I don't know. I think their tech is very, very good, and I'm just waiting for them to put out like the killer thing that's just incredible and blows everybody's socks off, I guess.
Yeah, I don't remember enough about Hellblade 1. It's been so long.
Yeah. I think Hellblade 2 has some cool stuff in it though. The cave section is
Sure.
very, very
Yeah, yeah.
cool. I like that stuff a lot.
I liked all the stuff with the first two giants. All
And
that
that
was
stuff
cool
too.
for sure.
That first giant is very good. Very, very good. The other game that we can talk about is Little Kitty Big City. Decided to check that thing out after my Hellblade excursion. Get a little calmer, I guess.
Yeah, I was doing that at the same time, so it was definitely kind of a whiplash.
Yeah, okay.
This game reminds me of like I don't know why this is what jumped in my head, but you know remember the old like PS1 N64 Toy Story games where it's just like here's
Okay.
like a room
Yeah.
and you're just gonna kind of like platform around it
Do
and you're just
stuff in
gonna
it.
go
Yeah.
up you're just gonna kind of do stuff in it and it's basically a big jungle gym. I guess Super Mario 64 is pretty similar
Yep.
in this regard. Is here's just an environment and you're gonna platform around into it. But for some reason there was the Toy Story ones that stuck out to me. Um, and that's what this game is. You're just a cat who you're just interacting with different animals or different I don't know, kind of set pieces in this town. And then eventually you unlock the ability to climb higher, which introduces more of the city for you to explore, and you kind of just rinse and repeat that.
Yep. I'm guessing you finish it. It's pretty short. It's a pretty short thing. So.
No, I was
Oh.
prioritizing Hellblade.
Oh. Okay.
I got the first stamina upgrade, the first fish, so I
Okay.
can climb, and that's when I paused it.
Pause. Very nice. Good pun. I
Ah,
know it.
yes, yep,
Yeah,
yep.
I know it wasn't meant. I think it's incredible. Like I really had a lot of fun in it. Obviously, it's just like a charming, stupid little thing, but it just hit at the right time for me. I just got off of Hellblade. I needed something to kind of tide me over between games because some big stuff's coming out. Nine Souls was coming out, and I still have some other big stuff I need to get back to. And it was just hit the spot of just like a checklist of things to do with some charming writing and some fun moments where you're just a cat hanging around. Maybe hampered a little bit by its shitty physics engine every now and then, but I kind of got used to how to finagle that so I didn't always just jump against a wall and fall to my death, quote unquote, or down a whole bunch of flights. Yeah, I don't
I've
know.
done that.
It's just fun collectathon sort of thing.
It's good. I think the writing is pretty funny
It's
and
good.
enjoyable when you're interacting with the other I don't know animals and insects and whatnot. You know, there's a raccoon, there's a chameleon that's very bad at camouflaging.
Yep.
The crow, they're all pretty good and some pretty good jokes in there. And yeah, it's just fun to like explore that environment and
It's great.
see different ways you can interact. And then they do like a really good job of like this is how a cat would, and you just get like a SWAT. You can just knock
Yeah.
things off the shelf and just be an asshole, making people trip and stuff like that. It's good. Where do you land on the Stray versus Little Kitty Big City
Oh my
debate?
god. They're so different. Uh
'Cause I've been hearing a lot of people like this one come out and they're like, "Oh, this is what I wanted from Stray."
Interesting. Cuz Stray to me was just a 3D like inside or like that type of game where you're kind of chilling in this environment and weird shit's happening. So I guess I never wanted this from Stray, but this is probably just what like I want in a cat game where you're just hanging out and having a goofy time wearing hats. I think I might have enjoyed my time with this a little bit more. I guess it's also not as dour, so there's that.
Sure. I feel like, you know, with the cuz Stray like blew up for some reason.
It really did.
Like remember it was one of the game of the year nominees at the Game Awards and that was like, "What? Are we
Yep.
talking about the same game? This had like a bad stealth section where you get like a taser gun."
Yeah.
um I feel like a lot of people who played that would have preferred this game. Like I feel like a lot of people went into Stray thinking it was going to be something like Little Kitty Big City, but that's just my
Your
1,000-yard perspective. I don't know.
sure. Your top down perspective, as it were.
My top-down perspective.
Yeah. Take a drink. Take a drink. Um, I think it's great. It's a great Game Pass game. So
Oh, for sure.
actually, Hellblade is too. Like, it's right now. If you don't have Game Pass and you have like the means to play Game Pass games, I would consider upping and just checking some of the stuff out on it. It's a good time right now.
There's a lot. I just downloaded Humanity, which I'm very excited to
Ooh,
play,
me
and
too.
Lords of the Fallen just got added as well.
Yep,
And then Haunty, I also want to get to pretty soon here. So yeah, it's good.
there's some
Good
good
Game
stuff.
Pass time right now.
Yep. That's kind of all that I've been doing though. in general.
Yep, and that's me. So let's do a bit of this news.
Okay.
I think I saw you were watching the State of Play.
Yes, I got off work early today, so I went and watched it. I came and watched it.
Okay. We should go through some highlights. I'm just gonna start with the actual best announcement.
Yep.
Just started off
The
like
end.
there's no way the absolute yes. New Astrobot. So this was rumored earlier this week
Yep.
that a possible new Astrobot was coming. This trailer I thought was incredible.
I was screaming. It's so
Specifically,
awesome.
like it just keeps going.
Yep.
Like you're just like, okay, yeah, I'm on board. And then it just like, and there's like 2 more minutes, and it's going faster and faster, and just showing you more and more and more stuff. Like, holy smokes, I am so excited.
It's like they were trying to prove something or something. Like it was crazy how much they kept doing, but he was Parappa at one point. Like it was great.
He
What
was
a
per half a yeah. How
yeah.
long was this trailer? 3 minute long, 3:15 long trailer.
Wow.
Oh, it's
One
so good.
tenth
It
of the whole
looks so good.
presentation was that game.
Honestly, like when the Astrobot theme started, I was just grooving.
Yeah, it was very, very good. I was very impressed. I can't believe the rumors were true. I'm so stoked, and it's coming out soon-ish too.
September 6th.
Yep.
It's not a free game they've mentioned. It is going to be for sale. I have no idea what they would charge for this.
What's your top
As the last
dollar to like? This is hard.
Honestly, it's Astrobot. I'll pay $70 for a new Astrobot. But then
I know that's
the
why
realistic.
that's why I was going to temper. Is like, wait, this is a bad question for like us, a normal person. Like, what do you think the top dollar amount is?
50
50,
American. I'm going American here.
50 would be probably the top that I think a bunch of people would pay. Yeah.
Yeah. I could see them going as low as probably 40 actually, but if they did 70, like I think that would be kind of ballsy of them, but I'd still do it because Astrobot is just so good.
It would be ballsy. Yeah. And it's one of those things of like, I always say that you should vote with your wallet, right? Like, if you really like Astrobot
Yeah.
and you can afford it, like, you should pay the 70 or like you should buy it, honestly.
I do really like Astrobot. Astrobot is one of the best like 3D platformers we've gotten in a long time.
Okay, here,
Just
let me float this out to you, okay? Astrobot is only available on the PS5 Pro, which means you have to buy PS5 Pro. That's the cost of admission.
okay.
Now, is this harder? Like, for you, maybe not, because you can like write it off or like it's a work thing.
I was gonna say you're. This is not fair asking me because there's a non-insignificant chance that I will just be getting a PS5
For the
Pro
hell of it.
from PlayStation.
Right.
And even if I wasn't, like, let's go back to a younger Sean. If a PS5 Pro came out, I'd probably sell one of my PS5s to offset the price of the Pro and get the Pro.
Right. Like, either way, you would get a Pro, but like, would a normal person pay a full thing?
No, I don't think so. But then again,
Yeah.
like there was that report that came out, I think this week as well. I didn't pull this for news, but like Sony announced that like only half of their PS4 owners have upgraded to a PS5.
Yeah.
So even less are going to go for the PS5 Pro, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. No, I'm glad this isn't going to be any kind of tie-in or PSVR 2 exclusive. I think this really shows that they really support Astrobot and thinks it can stand on its own. And I fully agree. Like, Astrobot is just so good. So
Yeah, I definitely agree as well.
excited.
Me too.
All right, what else? Anything else jump out at you?
Oh yeah, Monster Hunter Wilds, right? This is our first like real look at that game.
Okay.
Yeah, I was excited about it. It looks cool. I am a little bit worried because I got this weird like premonition, if you will. You know how in like a Red Dead or a Far Cry or something, if you need to upgrade, let's say your wallet, you're like, okay, I need crocodile hides. So I'm going to go,
Yeah.
This is an open world game, so I'm going to go where the crocodiles live, and I'm just going to kill crocodiles for a while. I have this weird bad vibe in my head that this is going to be like that in Monster Hunter, which I don't want. I kind of like the pomp and circumstance of you being in a hub and then having to like get your weapons ready and like eat your meal and go out on this giant hunt, track the monster, and like I kind of like that whole like traditional thing, and not just like let's go where these monsters roam and then like attack the herd, then grab one out of the herd. Like there's something about it that feels like they could misstep with it for me personally. But otherwise, like the stuff they showed looks very, very cool. The monsters look great. The idea of there just being like herds of monsters or whatever, and then you having to use environmental things or just your wits to kind of pull one away that you can fight, like to kill or whatever, is very, very cool. I guess it's just new territory for that series that has been doing literally kind of the same thing forever. And I guess I just worry a little bit that them changing it too much will ruin some of the magic I think there is in that series. But who knows? Like, I don't know. I haven't played it. I couldn't tell you. It looks cool, though.
Okay, I want to call it. I don't know if this is something I'm like necessarily going to play, but I'm just kind of confused slash interested by what exactly it is. Infinity Nikki.
I don't know what that is. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know either. I thought it was like, is this like a farming simulator? Is this like a style savvy kind of game? But then there's like platforming, and then it ends with like
Yeah.
this weird like boss character talking menacingly at you. So like I was like, is this a Pokemon thing? I
Yeah. I have
don't know
no
what this
idea.
game is.
No
Yeah.
idea
So
either.
I'm just kind of like, and then like a whole bunch of it was like, there's clearly a photo mode. So like I don't
Sure.
know if this is going to be something I play, but it is definitely something where is like I would like to know more.
Yeah. That being said, also, Where Winds Meet looks phenomenal and so up my alley. This is the game that
Okay.
looks like some weird yokai Elden Souls sort of thing.
You made me think of that Capcom one that's coming out, like Kunigetsu, something like that. You know what I'm
Sure.
talking about?
Yeah, but like not
Yeah.
as like stylish, I guess, art style wise or something.
I mean, this had some, yeah, that one's like really colorful. This one had a little bit of that, but it definitely kind of reminded me of that game for a minute.
For sure. I really think it's just like Elden Ring. This is the Elden Ring clone that these people are doing, and that's fine.
Okay.
More of that is fine. Why not, right?
Actually, no, we were just talking. There's not much coming out in June. Elden Ring comes out in June, so
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
um. Other than that, nothing else really honestly jumped out at me that much. Marvel Rivals, I'm still curious about because I like Overwatch. So, part of me is a little interested in Concord because that also is Overwatch.
It's interesting that there's 3 Overwatch things coming out like soon. Concord, Marvel, and the Valve one that got leaked or whatever. I can't remember.
Oh,
Deadlock.
okay.
Is that what it's called?
Oh,
Something.
okay. I don't think I looked into that. Okay.
Yeah, it's another it's another one of those. I mean, Marvel Rivals has been kind of out in a closed beta that people have access to, and that looks really fun.
Yeah.
So there's that. Path of Exile 2. Like the other stuff didn't look interesting to me because I'm already in. Like I'm excited for Silent Hill 2. I'm excited for Path of Exile 2. Bunch of PC ports, like that's awesome that those are happening. Yeah, I
There's
think the
another Warriors game coming.
Astrobot and Monster Hunter Wilds were kind of the thing that were like very, very good to me.
Nice. Yep. All right, next story. Just a final update. In fact, the final update for Redfall went live today. It added like offline mode, some new boss stuff, just a bunch of things. I just kind of wanted to call this out because pour one out for Arcane.
Yeah.
At least they got the time to like finish up the last milestone on their game, or a milestone on their game. It is definitely a bummer, but
Yeah.
here you go, Redfall's done.
Yeah.
It's so weird because they sold a season pass, and I guess they're just not going to fulfill that. Thanks for the money.
It's pretty
Very
shitty.
strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Speaking of shitty, have you seen YouTube's
I
quote
haven't.
big gaming push
I don't know what this is.
into
I'm reading it
into
now.
playables? So yeah, YouTube launched youtube.com/playables.
Okay.
They're just like little, like they look like mobile games that you just play on YouTube.
Okay. Can you play them on mobile as well? Like through YouTube mobile or whatever? I guess I could try
I don't
right
know about
now.
that. I don't know, but it's weird because they have stuff like Cut the Rope is on here.
Oh, sick. I love that game for 2 minutes.
8-Ball Billiards Classic.
Is it just .com
Angry
slash
Birds Showdown.
playables? Like, that's all it is?
YouTube.com/playables. Yeah.
Playables. Okay, let's see. Mobile,
Is this in
YouTube.
the YouTube app? You would think that would be where it would go, right?
Okay, you can visit it in your mobile thing here. Let's go stack bounce, start
Doesn't
game.
look like it's in the app.
Yeah, and it just loads it on like its own little vertical window.
All right, there you go. So yeah, if you don't have any games on your phone, you could play these games.
That's kind of cool. Why not?
I don't know what the point of this is. Like, I don't think there's ads. They're just trying to like keep you in YouTube.
Yeah, I guess so, right? They must sell like your data, get you on there and just like sell your data or something.
What's also crazy is just kind of the caliber of these games. You would think someone coming in to do like a game push, like when Netflix came into it and it was like, what is Netflix doing with games? They like rounded up some exclusives that were like that we could not ignore. They have some like heavy hitters in there, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hades is a mobile exclusive through Netflix.
Yeah.
These look like Flash games.
I think they are Flash games. I've recognized
Like
some of these.
who would play this that doesn't have access to just like free to play mobile games? You can play Fortnite for free.
That's true.
Why would you play Retro Drift and Running Pet and Scooter Extreme?
I mean, it's true. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't get it. This is such a okay. Well, anyway, thanks YouTube.
Yeah,
all right,
weird.
The next Call of Duty was officially announced. It is Black Ops 6, and it is coming to Game Pass day one.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I like playing the stories in the Call of Duty games, and I especially like the Black Ops stories. And if I don't have to spend $80 to $90 to do that, that's great.
No news on whether the other Call of Duty games are coming. I'm sure they are. I bet we will hear more about it during the Xbox showcase next weekish. But it was just kind of a question: is Microsoft going to sell Call of Duty as is, or are they going to put it on Game Pass? And they're clearly putting it on Game Pass.
Yeah. All those games coming to Game Pass. People, it's if you like Call of Duty and you haven't played those in a long time, you're gonna have a lot you could access if you want to.
And this last story, which is pretty great for me, Nintendo is opening up an official store in San Francisco next year.
Oh, okay. I don't care about that, but yeah, okay.
Well, but I care about that.
Right.
So,
sure.
So I'm no longer having to go to New York City for this official Nintendo store. I will definitely go check this out.
Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't you? Right? Yeah, that makes sense.
That's kind of cool. All right, that's news. Let's do some questions.
Yeah.
If you'd like to send a question in, it's topdownperspective at gmail.com, at TP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. And you could sound like Suku, who writes, has a font choice ever made you reconsider getting a game?
Font choice.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so either. I probably have like seen some weird fonts before, like especially in the mobile market, and just been like, is this the game I was told is good? Because that's a weird ass like normal font.
I mean, Little Kitty, Big City, I think does have Comic Sans as its font.
Yeah, I think it does.
Which is just always kind of a little irksome. The only thing I could also think of is when Square did those like pixel remasters for Final Fantasy, and they just put horrible. It might have also been Comic Sans or something. They just put some awful font in there, but no, it's never actually stopped me.
Yeah, me neither. I guess it could, but it hasn't. I guess. Dead right. If you had to eat everything the rest of your life using either chopsticks or your hands, or could never eat cold food again, which would you rather do? So you have to either use chopsticks or your hands, or you can never eat cold food again. That sounds weird. Never eat
I
cold
don't.
food
There's
again.
no. I think is obvious. Chopsticks and hands.
Yeah, no, of course, right? Because like those are
There's no way I could not eat cold food again. Like I wouldn't be able to eat like a sandwich
yeah.
and have a salad. Like the sandwich would have to be heated up. You can never have a salad.
Oh yeah, you would have to heat up the salad. Oh, I'm gonna throw up thinking
You
about
can
it.
never have fruit. Yeah, fruits or veggies. You'd have to cook them first, which is not terrible. Like I have steamed veggies
Yeah,
all the time, but just can't have yogurt.
yeah. Oh god, yeah,
I mean,
yogurt.
I'm probably not gonna eat most things with my hands. It's gonna be chopsticks, and that will be weird. But at least I can eat whatever I want.
I guess. I mean, chopsticks aren't bad to use, really. So you'd get used to it, I think.
No, I mean I can use chopsticks, but
Yeah,
there's just gonna be some foods that it's like, why are you doing this?
yeah. Like you would have to drink everything that like would use a spoon for, basically. Otherwise, everything else should be doable.
Yeah, like well, so like it would weird stuff would be like a steak.
Yeah, because you would have to probably just use your hands and then bite into it like a dog or something,
Yeah,
which is kind of funny.
just kind of try and kind of hold it down with the chopsticks. So
Uh,
any kind of like large meat would suck.
yeah, yeah. It'd be pretty difficult, but that's still the answer for like easily. Yeah,
Ice cream in a bowl would be hard. It'd be doable with chopsticks, but it'd be weird.
yeah,
I would probably just at that point only ever get ice cream on a cone.
yes, yeah. I agree.
That means you could never do like cake. Cake's gonna be weird all the time.
Yeah, I think like a pie would be worse though because it has filling that could spill everywhere. At least cake is kind of
Or yeah, that
solid.
would be bad. That would not be good. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, it's true though.
But there's no way I could give up because like my favorite food is like a good sandwich, and I prefer cold over cooked sandwiches. So
Mm,
no way I could do the never eat cold food.
sure.
VGC Kenny writes, "What mechanic in one genre do you think you could bring to another vastly different genre of game with a little tweaking, but it's still working well? For instance, I believe that Persona's social link system can work in a Metroidvania, maybe not as in depth as a Persona game, but it could still work. TM TM TM."
Yeah, sure. Why not? Right? Because then like the way you get through some areas that you couldn't before is by raising that social link. Like, yeah, you could make that work easily in that case. Okay. Oh. Mechanic in one genre of game that you could bring to another vastly different genre.
I think
Yeah.
what would be cool is so the genre you're going to bring it into is like I don't know, like a first person shooter.
Mm.
It could even work as like an action game, or, even something like Elden Ring. But the mechanic you're going to bring into is the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time trilogy rewind mechanic. So you
Okay.
can rewind like 3 seconds.
Man, you could put rewind in a lot of different stuff and it would like vastly change how you play a lot of those
That would be
games.
really cool, right?
It'd be pretty
I mean they
cool.
put it in Forza, and that's a
Yep.
fantastic addition.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
I think
that's
that
a
would be
great
super
one.
cool if you're like doing a gunfight or doing like a big attack. Even Elden Ring, if you just get hit really hard and you're like, oh crap, rewind 3 seconds, and instead of going for an attack, you went for a dodge instead. And maybe you have a limited number of the rewinds, or it's on a cooldown or something.
That would be cool. What about I'm gonna bring it up every time I can. The Nemesis system needs to be in more stuff. What
Sure.
if
Yeah.
it's in a dating sim where you scorn a girl on a
Jeez.
date and she just follows you around wrecking like dates or something for you? Like exes have play a role somehow into it.
Like as in like you're like cheating on them in some way, so they're upset.
Well, because you're going on like multiple dates, right? It's a dating sim. You're seeing multiple
Yeah, and
people or
they're like, I
whatever.
thought we were exclusive, and you're like, no, we're just playing around.
They just keep like sabotaging your date or something.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that working maybe somehow. They should put wall running in more stuff. I don't even care.
Every game should have a double jump as well.
Yep, that's true.
Rasserman7 writes, a few weeks ago I was discussing with someone the possibility of bringing back an old JRPG without having to remake it. I proposed some changes, but to their eyes, they were substantial enough for the final product to be considered a remake instead of a remaster. What's your take on this? Here are the list of the proposed changes. Improved performance to shorten loading times, improved assets, background art, and soundtrack, fast travel, save states, a prompt in the pause menu that tells you what your next objective is, an EXP or experience gained per battle adjustment, especially towards the end. Just to be clear, nothing else in the game would change. Same story, same characters, same settings, same battle mechanics, etc. If you are improving assets and stuff like that, that's a remaster.
I think this sounds. Oh no, a remake. Hang on. Remake is more than a remaster. Is that what we're saying?
I think a remaster is just bringing something up to date, essentially. Not like a port where you're literally just... It sounds like they're doing a remaster with these changes.
So, well, then how are you defining remake? Because I think remake is changing more than a remaster.
Yeah, it definitely is. But I think a remake maybe
so I think
changes
this is a remake. Then.
some core like mechanics, maybe.
I think this is a remake. If we're saying remake is changing more than remaster, because it seems like quite a bit.
It does.
I guess I would interpret I would interpret the remaster as more of just almost like a port, but it's also updating it visually, so it's just kind of making it look a bit better. Whereas this is like adding quite a bit of stuff, including some like new mechanics.
Yeah, I guess when I see improved assets, background art and stuff, I'm assuming they mean like new. They might just mean upscaled, in which case I guess it would just be a
mean
port.
upscaled, yeah. Like I think of like Burnout Paradise Remaster. All they did was just kind of make it a bit prettier, like kind of modernize the graphics and brought it onto modern consoles. They didn't do things like racing games now have fast travel. They didn't put that in there. So I think that's a pretty standard
Sure.
remaster because they didn't really change anything to make it more of a modern racing game. They just made it playable and look acceptable on current stuff.
I don't think
If
this
they had put in
changes a
stuff
whole
like
lot, really, what he's saying. Or sorry,
you don't
they're
think
saying.
so? I think so. I think like the EX, the pause thing, fast travel. I think that's adding quite a bit.
The fast travel is adding a lot, for sure. Save states probably not as much as like... I think that's probably just... Like, emulators do save states on consoles.
Yeah, I don't think that's a big one.
The thing is the improved asset, background art, and soundtrack. Like, that is... Depending what they mean by that, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's redoing the whole game, right? Depending on how they mean it. Yeah, I don't know.
That's a big one for sure. I also like how would you improve the soundtrack without like remaking it? Like you're just making it sound clearer? Like I feel like
I guess
I don't know.
Theoretically, like maybe just like using AI upscaling to like make it a little higher fidelity. I don't...
Or just rendering out the original assets at a higher resolution as opposed to
Perhaps,
like actually going in there and rebuilding it to have more detail in there. So, it looks sharper, but there is technically no more detail in there.
Yeah, I guess like where I would land on it then is if you had to redo anything from scratch or like whatever, it's a remake. If you're just like upscaling stuff and then adding save states and fast travel, I think it's closer to a remaster. Fast travel can... wait, and prompt in the pause menu that tells you what... That's fine. That's just quality of life. I don't think that's a big deal. Fast travel could be big.
Well, depending. I mean, so is the experience. That's also quality of life, right? They're just kind of minimizing how much grinding you have to do.
No, doesn't that just mean they're telling you how much experience you gained? An experience gained per battle adjustment. Wait.
Adjustment.
No. So you're retooling... Yeah, no, this is a remake. If you're redoing all of this, yeah, that's crazy. You're fundamentally
Well,
changing the game.
but to your point, you were saying the getting the next objective in the pause menu is a quality of life. I would argue the EX adjustment is a quality of life because you're just minimizing how much grinding you have to do. All they're doing
Yeah.
is changing
Well, they're
that
all
like
quality
number.
of life. I,
Yep, I mean, you're right. They're all
yeah.
basic. Well, so that's the thing is, I don't think we can just say if it's a quality of life, then it has to be this one because all of these are technically quality of life
I think I'm more
adjustments.
on remaster. I think I stick with remaster because I'm just thinking of like updating a few things and adding a few quality of life things. I don't think it's enough for a remake depending on what they mean by what they have here. I think that's where I lay.
Right. And I think I'm landing on remake. Sounds pretty substantial.
Okay.
Last from Phantom Aegis. It is an inevitability that a fan of any property they love will find a way to be involved in that IP or the creative team behind those works professionally. In games, we see this like Sonic Mania being made by fans and the writer for Sonic Frontiers being an avid fan. Another example from TV media is Doctor Who. The revival of the show was made possible because it was made by professionals who were fans of the show. Even the lead character was played by two separate fans. So fans can make these IPs better, more appealing. But fans are also a double edged sword. My question is what do you believe are important qualifications to ensure an IP stays respectful but fresh under the control of fans? This question can
Oh,
be varied depending on what part you're focusing. Qualifications of a fan writer are different from a fan musician, as an example.
I was not expecting this question to go in that direction. Hmm. Okay. What do you believe are important? Ensure an IP stays
I feel like
respectful.
if a property becomes old enough and if what it's not just like one person's baby, so
Yeah.
they are willing to branch out and bring in new creatives, eventually you're going to have a fan no matter what because it's become widespread enough,
Uh huh.
and theoretically people will want to work on it if they have some interest in it.
So what is important that they keep in like? How do I say this in a way that makes sense? They have to have the right vibe of the original IP, no matter what. There has to be like a vibe check that you understand what made the original thing good. Like if you made like I'm trying to think of some because the first
You
thing
know what comes to mind
yeah,
is it's that old Reggie Fils-Aimé quote where
okay.
he's like, "We hear you. You want the same but
But
different."
different. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of what it is every time you're doing a sequel is
Yeah.
everyone who's going into a sequel, they want to feel the same way they felt when they watched the first thing. But they don't want to just watch the first thing because they would have just done that.
Yeah. So
And it's there's a diminishing returns on just like watching, the first installment over and over again. So that's why you're excited for a sequel because it can bring a new thing and it expands on that world. So you're wanting an element of the same, but you want it to be different. But you don't want it to be too different
yeah.
because then it's like, why are you using the name of this thing? So
Right.
it is kind of a double-edged sword, and that's fans are working on it or not. That's just sequels.
Yes. I like the thing that popped in my head immediately is did you ever play Dirge of Cerberus?
No, I do own it. I actually own Nathan's copy, but I have not played it.
Okay. So I think that's one of those games that like they tried something kind of completely different, and the only thing that really tied it thematically was the characters and some of the like stuff going on. But like it's a
Yeah,
third person action shooter or whatever in the Final Fantasy universe, and I think it created this weird like people either like it or fucking hate that thing. So that's kind of one of those things of like maybe they didn't fully pass the vibe check on what like people liked about Final Fantasy for some people.
yeah. I feel if you're doing a shift in like genre of that much,
It's
then you
harder.
really have to make sure that it's good.
Yeah.
Because I bet if people were like, I'm an RPG fan and I love Final Fantasy VII. I love these characters. Here's something that is going to expand on that universe. I don't typically play shooters. If you make it a good shooter, then the person can probably be like, okay, I'm enjoying this. If you make it a bad shooter, then it's like, well, this is a bummer because now it's just making this universe worse.
And I think it's also just that like due to the nature of who it's focused around. It's much darker in tone and like weird shit happening. Another example actually is Gears of War has like a fan base and a type of like feeling you get from it, and Gears of War Tactics carries on that feel and a lot of like similar things from like a kind of different, like literally point of view, because it's a top down thing, a tactics game, but like
Yeah.
it still has a lot of the same like soul and stuff going on in it, and I think it even has some of the same characters, which helps a lot. But like that, if that was a fan project, let's say, that would be kind of the thing where like they kind of understood what they could get away with and how to tie it into the franchise as a whole and kind of expanded. I think that sort of thing is important.
Yeah, I mean, like if we continue with that example, like I'm not saying that I can't remember which team actually made Gears Tactics,
I
but you
can't
would
either.
think somebody at that studio, whether they're a quote unquote fan of Gears or not,
Yeah.
they're not. I doubt they're going to pitch that game without having an interest in the Gears universe.
Hmm.
Like no one's sitting there being like, "Man, I hate Gears, but we got to do this." Like
There's maybe
clearly
one or
there was
two
something there.
in every job, but yeah, generally, I know what you
Yeah.
mean.
You would hope that there's something there like, oh, this is a cool setting. We can do something cool with this. Yada yada yada. Um, and I think Gears Tactics is great. I think that
It's
thing
so
turned out
good.
great. And Halo has Halo Tactics,
Halo
Halo
Wars.
Wars. I mean,
Yep.
as well. So yeah, I think it's just the game has to be. It just has to be good, or not the game. Whatever follow up, it just has to be good. If it's good, people like will not like they won't care kind of what you're doing
Sure.
because they enjoyed it. It's good.
Yeah, which means I guess you have to put like some effort in. Just I guess that's the thing. The important qualification to ensure an IP stays respectful under the control of fans is the fans have to care enough to put in some effort to make it a decent thing using that IP or universe.
I think even like let's take I don't know Gears again.
Okay.
If let's say everyone really loved Gears 1, Gears 2 is coming and they're like, "All right, in Gears 2, we're going to kill off everybody's favorite character." Like, sure, people might not like that idea, but if the game's good, it
It doesn't matter.
doesn't matter. They're going to be like, "Man, that was incredible. I had such a good time with this game, and I can't believe they did this."
Sure.
Like, yeah. You just got to make something good, man.
It's gotta make something good. That's all people care about in the end.
All right, that's it for questions. If you want to send questions in, topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. What is your game of the week?
Um, I'll give it to Little Kitty Big City. Not far enough in Nine Souls yet.
And I'll give it to Hellblade 2.
Okay. Fair.
Thanks everyone for listening. We'll be back next week. See ya.
Bye.